What they're currently doing is using Colleague UI, and they're pulling up, I don't know how many screens. I just typed the ones that I heard about to find little pieces of information. And they're really proud of how fast they can go to all these screens. I thought that was funny. It's muscle memory. So you have to go to Perk, Stack, all these different things to pull up relevant information. What Civitas is going to do for you, cross your fingers, and I'm going to have to sign in. So when you do sign in, it is single sign-on, so you don't have to remember another credential. So, okay, so I came into Civitas and I went straight to a student page, but how easy it is to find your students if you type in their name in the search bar and you click on them. And it pulls up this profile page. So all of those screens in Colleague, we've pulled that data out of those screens and we've put it on one profile page. This data information, or data, includes basic biographical information, some degree information including their GPA, credits in progress, credits earned, transfer credits, their degrees type, their different things. Their majors are going to be listed up here. And reminder, we're still cleaning up things, so you might see something a little amiss or, minors. We don't have minors. We're cleaning that up. That's going to happen in the next 2 weeks. We're going to finish up everything, but for the most part, it's good data. So that's basic geographical information. If you open the student summary, for the student, this is where it gets interesting, and I'm going to also explain some new fields, or some new data we're bringing in that will be helpful to advisors. But this is where you can see their holds. If any hold they have will be listed here, including registration holds. And we're going to make those noticeable so that you know what kind of a hold is a registration hold, which means you need to go take an action in Colleague to remove that hold, the advising hold, basically. They're not here right now, but the pieces of information I'm having them bring in are also the student's catalog year, which is important to advisors. How many people in here advise students? Okay, so hopefully what I'm saying is making sense. So the catalog year will be brought in, TSI and REM scores will be brought in. Something else, my mind just went blank. Information that you have to go to all these screens are going to be pulled into this one area. And if you notice something is missing that you need, put in a ticket, and I can open a ticket with Civitas and ask them to bring it in. So the idea is to have to go to one place. You can also see their Canvas course well, not just Canvas, but their course history pulled out of Colleague, because you also need to find this in Colleague. So you can see how many times they've dropped. You can see some basic GPA, institutional credits earned. You can see in progress and future enrollments. You can see past courses with grades, credits, the term, and even the screen is smaller, the teacher who taught that. And if you click the class, it brings that up in a different page. Wow. With the information straight out of Colleague.
Attitude on the day of class. They were in a dark mood that day. No.
I also learned the reason I'm using this particular real student is because they have transfer courses, and that information is also brought in. So grades, course names, all that. You can also see, that he took this programming class, withdrew, and he retook it here. So it gives you the same information you need out of Colleague for the most part. There might be one or two things missing. Again, let us know that. And I think that's really the profile page is your single point of entry to look. Now you don't have to go looking at all the screens, right?
Which is
No, Josh, I'm sorry. I'm good now. Thank you.
Oh, he's all.
Oh, okay.
You're good, sir, it's my problem.
So let me go back into, okay, so that's, that Civitas brings is centralized advising notes. This one's fun for me because, this is a little video I took of me going through and looking for all of the advising notes on the perk screen in colleague. It's very cumbersome. You have to look for the advising hold, you have to click a button, you have to see it, is that the right note? I don't know, who put it in? There's no, maybe they time stamped it, maybe they put their name, maybe they didn't. So I also thought that colleague had an actual place that said advising note or comment, and it currently doesn't. It might later when we upgrade to the modern version. It doesn't currently in the place that you're going. So this is not official, but my recommendation that I hope by the time we train you guys on this is advising notes don't need to be put in colleague. They need to be put in a system where advising notes can be shared and viewed centrally, which would be Civitas. Let's see.
So is there gonna be a way to filter?
For notes, you still go to the student's profile page to see notes for that student. There's a tab here, and this is where any note put by anyone for that student would be listed. They're dated, it tells you, whether it was an email or an appointment, it was a text message, phone, it tells you the author. So maybe if you wanna reach out to that person and find out more information, you could. And then you can click on them, and I'm gonna just click on one example. This is one I created, so I can still add to it and edit it as I need. But it's just a simple text field. You type in your note, but you can attach files if you need to. The other thing you can do here that you can't do in colleague is tag them, add a category, whatever you wanna call it, a session topic. So that helps us with reporting and data. So if you talk to the student about multiple things, you could say, I talked to them about graduation, I talked to them about transfer planning, right? You can add those here, and it saves automatically. And then that can be pulled out for reporting, so we can get an idea of what's going on. Yes?
But when we tag them, it tags it for the outside, but when the meeting say this one has to do with this, but when we actually go to the entry, it's all cluttered together in the same spot, right? So it's not like we have a different spot for each of the categories.
Right.
So you would have to
But-
read through. the
Well,
whole thing.
true, but you would be able to pull an advising note report
Uh-huh,
and see that information and filter through it. It's not available right here,
uh-huh.
but there's an area for you to go to see that information and filter it that way if you needed to.
So told, or transfer note, or whatever, is there a drop-down, list for us to choose so that we're all using the same language? Or is that just whatever we chose to name it?
So actually, let me show you creating a new note.
Okay.
You would create a new note and you pick a couple of required
Okay,
fields.
that's what I was wondering.
Right, so some of these things are consistent because it's a drop down. So you can pick email, appointment type, but only here. If you pick appointment type, then you can pick, it was a schedule ahead, they made an appointment, or it was a walk-in, and it was in person or other. Then this is the session topic.
Okay.
This is where you can tag it, and these are consistent.
Okay.
Let me add one.
You say tag it, it goes to that department?
No, it's just adding
It's just adding
a
information.
category or a label to it, so you know at a glance what was talked about, I guess.
But the advising note subject, you make up?
Correct. So down here, and I honestly don't think it needs a subject, but I think it's there because you can also send emails from Civitas, and emails have a subject, and so that captures that. You can make an email a advising note. So you can type whatever you want, note, who cares? But here is where you wanna be more descriptive, right? Type But you can, again, you can, link to URLs, you can get whatever you wanna do in here. And you can attach documents as well, and then click add note.
We can make this part of training, Sarah, because I think that's a really good point.
Well,
You're
I
gonna
just-
have,
The reason I'm looking is because that subject line is
Yeah.
what we see. I mean, that's what we see, and I would just think we would all wanna be speaking the same
Sure.
language.
right, well, and here's the concern, we're kind of burying the lead here because Sarah does need to go to another department. You're gonna have your own students, so that doesn't necessarily matter that much until one of your students comes to me or comes to somebody else. And then we don't necessarily understand that. So they shouldn't be bouncing around too much, but I think we do maybe wanna have a consistent list of terms that we're using. Did you say the retirement one?
Yeah. I said, somebody's gonna have to understand my funky language,
Right, so I
so.
think if we have a common bank of terms that we're using,
I
there
speak
shouldn't
Sarah.
be a lot
I
of
speak Sarah.
jumping around until you retire.
I know.
Victor
Everything
White,
else is
yes.
everything we know.
Yeah, but again, it's easy for the brain to go, well, this is weird, and this, we don't even have this at all currently, right? So at least it's something, and I'm just
Oh, I
saying,
like it.
give it a chance.
So much
is all
easier.
I'm
I know.
saying.
I think it's
Saves so many
much
steps.
Much improved.
It's gonna have its little nuances, right?
That's a good point, though.
And the other thing I wanna mention before I move on is you can share notes with others, if they have more than one assigned advisor. It's unlikely right now, but maybe later on, they might have a career advisor, they might have a success coach, something like that. You can, share with Marge, since it is this person's advisor. You could share with, others, right? Directly with them, notify them. And it would show up for them in their area. So, you also have that. Okay, so that's notes. What else? Okay, this is big for me because QLIS, appointment scheduling was great because we didn't have anything before. It's working mostly, but for IT, it's a lot of upkeep because it's a system that's very granular. With the appointment scheduling in Civitas, you get a lot more control as an advisor. You can you can create your own availability slots. You don't have to send your availability to the admin assistant or chair, so you can create your own availability slots. I'm not gonna go into how that's for training, but when you go into Civitas, you can see your appointments in Civitas, but it's also very much better integration with Outlook. So where you see the dark blue busy, that is on the Outlook calendar coming in. And so it knows a student cannot schedule anything there, but you create your own. This is an advising slot, that is where a student can actually advise because you said you're available for it. Or make an appointment. So you have your calendar view here, and once there was an appointment, you can click on that appointment and see the details of the student. Click the student, go to their profile page, it's all integrated, much better. This also has Teams meeting integration very deeply, so that if you wanna meet with them virtually, when an appointment is created, it generates a meeting link for you, so you don't have to do any extra work.
So I've noticed the students this semester have a little schedule thing like this, and that's what they're going by now. Like, you know how we used to, if somebody was in the room and they were in the wrong.
So to move along, appointment scheduling is better. I don't wanna spend too much time talking about all the nuts and bolts of it, but the most important thing to me is that as an advisor, you can create your own appointment slots. You get, real-time notifications. The notifications you're getting right now, I'm sending those at night. And I have an automation, a script that helps me do that quickly, but I still have to, at 6 o'clock, pull a report and send all of those appointment reminders out. I can't wait for us to go to this. Because you'll get them when an appointment is made, you'll get an update if it's canceled by the student or anyone. And then also every morning, you're going to get a digest email, and the student will too, of all your appointments for that day, a reminder. So it's more automatic.
Is that gonna be connected to like Raquel, if she puts,
Yes, and the admin assistant will be able to be a delegate for everybody and help you with your
yeah,
stuff.
cause right now she just sends us an email.
Yeah, she'll be able
So she can
to
just-
go in here and schedule the appointment. But the students, I wanna get to where the students are scheduling the appointment, cause you say you're available at this time. So a student could just go directly to you and not through the
And will it send us an alert? Cause I
Yeah.
don't just go and look at that 24 hours a
Yes,
day.
that's what I'm saying, the Q
And they'll
list,
pop in and it's like, oh, I didn't know you were
the
here.
Q
Okay.
list, the Q list, integration does not have that real-time email alert, this does. You'll get an email right when right after they schedule, and if it gets canceled or rescheduled, it's gonna tell you by email in real time.
Thank you.
Okay, next thing. This is coming later, but I just wanna bring it up. The early alerts, are pretty nice. You can do high alert, medium alert, or a good commendation. And this gets added to their profile in Civitas as well. But the idea, and this is where we have to do a little planning and work first, the idea is that, Dean Hernandez, her care team, would be the people seeing those alerts and resolving those alerts. We still have to work out the way that's going to work, but all faculty will be able to add an alert through Civitas embedded in Canvas, and advisors as well, or you can come into Civitas directly and create an alert to let the care team know this student needs some outreach, some extra outreach. So this is we're gonna bring this back and make it a little more easy and integrated for you. And then email and texting students. So this also is gonna require some work on behalf of the college, which we're doing. You can get emails, you can get Canvas messages, you can get Civitas messages, you can get messages from all corners, right? So you can also send messages, and it's just notification overload. We're gonna give you texting, but if you text the student too much, they can opt out. They're gonna be opted in to texting by default, but they can say opt out, and then you've lost that phone connection. Civitas is logging this throughout, as long as you start the conversation in Civitas, right? And you can, instead of Canvas inbox, you could use Civitas to do this because of that ability to text them, and it is captured whether you're doing it in Outlook or Civitas. With Canvas, you can't text students. They might have the app on their phone, but that's not always, who knows if they really do. So, all of these messages will be in one place. It's not set up right now for me to show you, but when you go into Civitas and you can click on a student, or you go to your message inbox, there's an email inbox and a text inbox right there, and you can see everything just like your email inbox.
I'm sorry.
I was just wondering, will any of this also go through the Viking Go app? Cause I always recommend for the students to download the Canvas app for students, and I usually turn the Viking Go app as well.
Yeah. This does not currently have an integration with Viking Go, and I don't know what plans are in the future for Viking Go, because we have other things coming. So we haven't worked that out yet, but it currently does not. Yeah. We can provide a link to Civitas and then, from in Viking Go, so it's at least there for you to click on, and for the students to click on. I have something at the very end that I can tell you about that.
I just found out, speaking of Viking Go, I just found out that it only works on iPhone, not Android.
We're aware of that.
Say
Google
what?
kicked us off because they're very strict about compliance rules. We're working really hard to get it back on. Google kicks us off a lot, and it's really annoying, so we're trying. But yeah, you can tell your students to go to m.delmar.edu in a browser, and that is the same experience as the web app.
Say that one more time.
m.delmar.edu.
Ah, got you. Okay.
That's basically Viking Go
Yeah.
on the web. One other thing about messaging, and I'm not gonna go into it too much, but first of all, you can schedule emails. So if you wanna send an email at the beginning of the semester, you don't have to wait until that moment. You can write it, schedule it, and it'll go out, at that time. There's also a way to create groups of students. So let's say you have a lot of assigned students, but you only want to send an email to students who are not, or who are least likely to graduate, for instance. Some people who need a little bit more outreach. You can create a dynamic group of those students that every time they fall into that category of low persistence, that group updates day to day. And let's say one student drops into that group and 2 students move out. You can schedule an email for that group and it's gonna hit that group, whoever's in that group that moment. So it's dynamic, it's scheduled and dynamic. So it kind of takes the thinking out of it for you when you create those types of groups. You can also create a group of students that won't change based off of the data, just students you know you're gonna need to talk to, maybe the students that do the tournaments. You could create a group of those students and schedule emails out, for don't forget to get ready to travel, that kind of thing.
I hope that our students don't expect an immediate response to a text. You know how when you text your friend or your buddy and they're like, I text you, why didn't you wait 3 days or a day to text me back? Well, it was from my computer, dude, so calm down.
Yeah, that's a thing where you can sort of
Or,
say,
or midnight.
I'll try to get back to you within a week or 48 hours. You can put that message
Okay,
on there
okay.
and let them know that, yeah.
What
Sure.
if we're, you up?
I feel like our students think we're call centers.
The reason why it would be so helpful for more people to use Civitas is you're our data collectors on student behavior at Del Mar College. What are they doing? What are they telling you? What are their transfer plans? What services are they using? There's different things different types of data about students we can add into Civitas that is not in college, it's not anywhere else. And that feeds the analytics that help us know who's more likely to persist or who's struggling, who's more likely to struggle and needs some outreach. So it helps with that analytics, that predictive analytics piece. So the idea is that everybody's collecting student data wherever they can. That data is stored in a centralized place. I know there's Excel sheets out there that people use. There's all these Microsoft forms that people use. If we could get all that data, instead of in those places, into one place, then we can now use that data to see actionable insights. How is this gonna help me actually take a step to help the students? Because we're collecting all this data and not doing anything with it, right? It helps you make better informed decisions based off facts, real data, and to help students graduate. So to me, that's the end goal of everybody using this and putting data in here, is we can help students graduate.
So are you asking for us to be using, the Civitas starting now, or are we having training? Well,
Yeah.
Colleague.
Right, yeah. So the next thing I was gonna say is that I am hopeful. We're about to actually schedule training. I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen early October. If it doesn't, either I'm gonna do it, because we're gonna bring